Okay, so OpenAI just dropped something that's got everyone talking. And nope, it's not a new AI model. It's about jobs, education, and honestly, a business strategy that could totally reshape the tech talent market. Let's get into it. All right, let's just cut to the chase here. The company that basically kicked off this whole AI revolution is now jumping into the jobs and certification game. And you gotta ask, why, right? Is this just a PR move, a pivot, or is there something way, way bigger going on here? So, what did OpenAI actually announce? To really get what they're trying to do with the economy, we got to look at what their new CEO for applications, Fiji Simo, laid out. In her announcement, Simo didn't dance around the big issue. She came right out and said, yeah, AI is going to be disruptive. But she framed this whole new thing as OpenAI's way of helping people, navigate that disruption and hopefully come out on top. The plan is basically a classic 1-2 punch. Okay, so first, they're building a jobs platform. That's the marketplace. But second, and this is the really critical part, they're creating the credential for that marketplace, a certification to prove you've got the AI chops. Okay, so at the absolute core of this whole strategy is this new term they're really pushing, AI fluency. I want you to think of it like the new literacy for the modern workforce. And let's be super clear here. OpenAI isn't just suggesting this standard. They are positioning themselves to own it. And hey, if you thought this was just some little side project, get a load at this number, 10 million. That's how many Americans they've told the White House they're going to certify in just a few years. This is not an experiment, folks. This is a massive national-scale play to show they are all in. All right, let's get to the first big interpretation, the one that immediately blew up on social media and got everyone talking. Is OpenAI trying to build a LinkedIn killer? I mean, the media and all the commentators online were so quick to frame this as a direct shot at Microsoft, which, of course, isn't just OpenAI's biggest partner. They own a LinkedIn. It makes for some juicy drama, right? But while that whole Shakespearean drama of a corporate showdown makes for a great story, the reality is probably a little more, well, boring. The jobs market isn't winner take all, and it's super normal for tech companies to train and certify people on their own stuff. Think Salesforce, think Google. So the competition here might just be a side effect, not the main event. Okay, now for a theory that feels a lot more direct. What if this whole thing is a really, really smart public relations move? A way to calm down the growing and, let's face it, very real public anxiety about AI taking all the jobs. And look, people's worries aren't just coming out of nowhere. We're starting to see real data roll in, like the Stanford study that found a 13% drop in jobs for recent grads in the fields most exposed to AI. That's a real number impacting real people's lives. It's exactly why this anxiety is building. And it gets even bigger. Another report, this one from the Gerald Huff Fund for Humanity, estimated that the net job loss from AI could be as high as 45 million in the US alone. I mean, wow. When you're talking about numbers like that, the pressure on a company like OpenAI to have some kind of answer becomes just immense. But then you have industry leaders, including LinkedIn's own founder, Reid Hoffman, who are basically saying, hold on a second. They're arguing that this disruption is also a massive opportunity. It's a choice, right? Do we see this as a warning, a threat, or do we see it as a huge opening for anyone willing to adapt? So what about the tech community? The people who live and breathe this stuff every single day. What did they think about this move? Well, it looks like they're pretty much split right down the middle. Basically, the tech world broke into two camps on this. You've got Camp 1, who sees this as this ambitious, genius, empire-building play to own the entire AI ecosystem from top to bottom. But then you have Camp 2, who thinks they're getting, well, lost in the sauce, that they're distracted from their core mission and are just throwing stuff at the wall to justify that insane valuation. And just look at how close this is. A community poll shows the sentiment is split almost perfectly, 50-50, like 54% to 46%. This isn't just a few skeptics grumbling in a corner. The community is genuinely divided on whether this is a stroke of absolute genius or a major, major misstep. So what's the real story? What's actually going on here? Well, like with most things this big, it's probably not just one of these theories. It's likely a really clever combination of all of them working together. Okay, from a pure, cold, hard business perspective, this is a brilliant move. By creating the official certification for AI fluency, they're creating this powerful lock-in effect. They're making proficiency with their tools the new standard for getting a job in the AI age. Super smart. But at the same time, you can't just write off the genuine mission here. It really does seem to be driven by people like their head of education, who are passionate about this stuff. They've spent their careers building new ways for people to get jobs and seem to really believe in creating these new opportunities. And that really is the ultimate takeaway here. It's this perfect win-win strategy that works on so many levels. In the absolute worst case scenario for them, it's a fantastic PR move that makes them look like a responsible corporate citizen. And in the best case, it becomes a massive, brand new, and super profitable business that basically owns the future of talent. Which, of course, leaves us with one last kind of provocative question. As OpenAI builds out both the standard and the marketplace for AI skills, could an AI fluency certificate one day be more important for your career than a college degree? I guess only time will tell.